As dusk fell, the last swordfish had flown off towards the northwest, leaving Bismarck sailing lazily to port. When the damage control parties managed to examine the rudder, they found that there was little that they could do. The rudder could only be properly repaired in port. Lindemann did what he could to counteract the effect of the jammed rudders, but he was only partially successful. That last one torpedo had forced Bismarck from her course and sealed her fate. Aboard the battleship, while Lindemann did what he could to rectify the effects of the jammed rudder, consideration was given to damage control measures. One proposal which was given brief consideration was having the rudder blown off. However, Lindemann and Lutjens were both against this. In the first instance, Lindemann did not wish to risk the life of a crewman in the rough seas. Secondly, it was not known exactly how much explosive would be needed. The risk was that the explosion would damage the propellers. Consideration was also given to removing one of the aircraft hangar doors and welding it to the stern of the ship to counteract the effect of the jammed rudder. This, again, was decided against. As the aircraft returned to Ark Royal, the aircrews felt that they had failed, until a signal from Sheffield reported that Bismarck was steering erratically and was circling around to the northwest, heading away from France and the safety that it would bring, and towards Tovey. As the aircrews were debriefed, it all suddenly made sense. One torpedo had somehow prevented Bismarck from steering a course towards the French coast. This meant that at last Tovey's battleships had a chance to overhaul her and bring the damaged warship to battle. Tovey could just reach Bismarck during the hours of darkness, but he decided against a night action. His battleships were short of fuel, and bringing on a nighttime battle would mean increasing their speed, which would mean they would have to break away to refuel shortly after dawn. Delaying the battle until dawn would allow Tovey to place his ships in a better position to engage, and, by sailing through the night at a more economical speed, King George V and Rodney would have almost 2 hours to deal with Bismarck before they would have to break off and head for Scapa Flow. Just before 10:40 p.m., 5 destroyers of the 4th Destroyer Flotilla took up station around Bismarck, forming up with 2 destroyers on each beam and the 5th one astern of her. Bismarck opened fire on the destroyers to starboard, HMS Maori, and the Polish destroyer Piorun. As Bismarck engaged the destroyers, Van ordered his captains to pull back out of range. Van was, however, only biding his time and, at 11:24 p.m., ordered them to close in once more, this time to launch a torpedo attack from several directions at once. However, poor visibility, along with the accuracy of German fire, forced him to abandon this near-suicidal attack. The destroyers withdrew once more, but Van gave his captains permission to attack on their own initiative if the opportunity presented itself. As she closed in to attack, the Piorun flashed a light signal to Bismarck, "I am a Pole." Aboard the Piorun, the Polish crew had but one thing on their mind: revenge. Here for them was an opportunity to take revenge on the Germans for the invasion of their country. Under the new orders to attack independently, Zulu was the first to attack from port at 1:20 a.m. All 4 of her torpedoes missed, the aimers hampered by rain squalls and accurate German gunfire. Maori was next, attacking from starboard, but she too failed to score any hits. Next, it was the turn of Van's flagship, HMS Cossack, followed by HMS Seek. Both destroyers claimed to score 1 hit apiece, but German records do not support this claim. It may well be the case that the crews of the 2 British destroyers saw flashes from star shells through the rain-laden darkness and assumed that they were caused by explosions. During this period, from 1:48 a.m., Bismarck stopped in the water for an hour. This was not because of damage. Rather, it was to allow the damage control parties to examine the rudder once more. Within an hour, Bismarck was once more underway. As the destroyers conducted attacks, Piorun lost contact with Bismarck and the 4th Destroyer Flotilla. She would ultimately not regain contact and would be ordered to Plymouth to refuel. The attacks by the 4th Destroyer Flotilla failed. Nevertheless, Van and his destroyers had kept the Germans at their posts throughout the night. Aboard Bismarck, the crew were finally beginning to realize that their chances of reaching safety had evaporated. Saint-Nazaire was still over 500 miles away, and when dawn came, there would be no German aircraft as they were still out of range of air cover. Instead, they could expect the British home fleet. Although Bismarck could still fight, the damage to the rudder meant that she was unable to avoid an engagement against superior enemy forces. In other words, her luck had run out. Recognizing that luck had run out, Lutjens sent a signal to Hitler, informing the Führer,
"We shall fight to the last man with confidence in you, my Führer, and with rock-solid trust in Germany's victory."
When informed of the predicament faced by Bismarck, Hitler sent a signal in reply, informing the crew that what still could be done would be done to render assistance. Hitler was, however, gloomy. When informed that approximately 2,000 men were aboard Bismarck, he vowed never to allow Raeder to risk Germany's capital ships in the Atlantic again. While orders went out to the Luftwaffe to try and provide assistance, as well as to U-boats, to make for the position of Bismarck, a signal was sent to the Spanish Ministry of Marine, requesting that they send a hospital ship to render assistance to Bismarck's crew. Shortly after dawn, 2 Spanish warships would put to sea, making for the position of Bismarck. Many thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more updates, like and share. You can also help to support the channel at Patreon. Details are in the description box below. If you enjoyed this content, why not also check out my Substack page for more unique historical insights and articles. A link to the page is in the description box below.